All right, welcome back from your break. Hope you had a little reset, maybe did some of those exercises we just learned about. We are moving right into our next session here, Sarcoma Alliance activities. Ever wondered what Sarcoma Alliance does? Well, now you're about to find out. We have Philip and Stephanie Leider here, both board members. Go ahead and take it away. Thank you.
So thank you. It's great to join you again. As I said yesterday, can I have the next slide, please? I'm Philip Leider, and I'm president of the Sarcoma Alliance's board of directors. And I'm here with my wonderful sister, Stephanie Leider, who also is on the board currently. And we were both on the founding board, and I served as the president previously many years ago after my sister Suzanne passed. Suzanne was the founder of the organization. She's the heart and soul of the organization, and her memory lives on in the organization. And so Stephanie and I are both here to carry on her legacy to the extent we can and join with everybody else who cares about this so much. As I've said in many times in many contexts, we rely on active volunteers to do everything that this organization does. We've done that since the beginning. At some points, we've had staff members, and we've had the good fortune to have the finances and the ability to have paid staff members. But we're currently an all-volunteer organization, and we were at the beginning, and you would be amazed what volunteers can accomplish. We rely on our volunteers for many other things aside from just fundraising, serving on our board, doing social media, but we can always use more help. We can always find a way to let people who care about the sarcoma community participate and help others out. It's a wonderful, enriching thing. I think Stephanie will agree. I think everybody will agree who participates. Next slide, please. Before I turn to the specific programs that the Sarcoma Alliance has developed over the many years, wanted to say very briefly a bit about its history. We are just about to enter our 25th year of existence, which is remarkable and heartwarming. In 1999, Suzanne, our younger sister, founded this organization to help people like her. And I was really struck by one of the questions in Dr. Livingston's presentation, more an observation, where somebody was talking about pediatric and adolescent sarcomas and said, there's this pervasive feeling of loneliness. And Dr. Livingston mentioned some of the things that MD Anderson does to help alleviate that sense. We did a study actually right when Susie was at the end of her life. We reached out to the entire community, the sarcoma community, and asked, what are the major things you want to see in a sarcoma support organization? What are the things that are really affecting you? And we had a marketing firm do a survey for us. We had a member of our board who was an expert in marketing and communications. And the overwhelming, loud, by far number one thing was, I feel so alone. And so the Sarcoma Alliance, the number one thing, the thing we are always focused on, and the thing that we try day in, day out to alleviate is this sense of being alone, because there's so many people out there in the world that are affected by sarcoma, that have sarcoma, that are caring for somebody or love somebody with sarcoma. And if you look at our logo, which is right over my head, Kirk Souter created this logo for us based on the study, and it's a sunflower, but if you look closely, it's a ring of hearts. And the reason we chose this logo and the reason it still drives all of our look and feel for our organization is because our goal is always to ally people together who are facing this disease, trying to treat this disease, trying to help people with this disease. So that sunflower, that orange and green sunflower with those hearts ringed around it, really reminds us on a daily basis what we're here for. So if you keep that in the back of your mind, you can look at all of our programs and you'll see that they're all directed towards doing exactly that, reducing that sense of loneliness, joining people together, making people understand that they're not alone in this fight. And the very first tool we used for this, Suzanne initiated. It was her brilliant idea back when the internet was a baby, barely even existed. And she said, we need to have a website because people are affected by this all over the world, in rural communities, in tiny communities, and they have no way to connect with somebody who even has cancer, let alone somebody who has a very rare cancer. And so we created this website, and it's evolved over the many years. And I would really recommend that this be the first place you go to really learn about us. We have lots of information on there about our history, the programs we offer. We have a calendar of events for all sarcoma organizations. We have a lot of things. Next slide, please. That will help you. The website provides information on sarcoma and its specific subtypes. It has a guide for new patients to help them. It's very overwhelming when you get this diagnosis. Information coming from all sides, talking to people, other sites on the internet telling you things. We try and simplify it, boil it down, and make it really clear for people so they're not overwhelmed by the information. We have a map, and it's actually an interactive map, not just a list, of high volume sarcoma centers, both in the United States and internationally. And it's a very useful place for you if you're in the middle of the country or you're somewhere remote and you need to know where can I go to see somebody who specializes in sarcoma treatment. This map is the first place I would direct you. We also have support groups, both in-person, old-fashioned support groups, the way we used to do it, where you sit around in a circle and you share and you help each other and give each other support and stay in touch with each other. And also, we also have wonderful social media support groups. Our Facebook support group has over 13,000 members. It should remind you that you are not alone, even just by joining that group. And then one of the signal things, most important things and dear to my heart and Stephanie's heart, she'll talk about this in more detail. We have an assistance fund for people who need a second opinion. We've heard Dr. Pollock tell us why it's so important for people with sarcoma to go see a sarcoma expert and hopefully go to a high volume sarcoma center. We have some financial assistance, it's limited, but we raise money and we give grants, many of them each year, to people to help them get a second opinion from a sarcoma provider. There's many other resources, guides about things like we just heard about, like exercise, nutrition, many other things aside from just research trials, medicines, surgical procedures, all that stuff. We have a wealth of information and resources on there on the website for people to consult. And finally, like I said, we try our best to list events. We obviously list our own events, but we also try to list events that other sarcoma organizations and other cancer organizations are putting on and ally the community in that way as well. Next slide, please. On our social media, and I have to take my hat off to Joan Darling, who spoke at the beginning of this session. We have a Facebook page that provides up-to-date information on developments in sarcoma support and treatment. And Joan is a trained biologist and really does follow the research very closely. And she provides these wonderful social media, Facebook and Instagram blasts to the community. You can sign up for them. And they tell you the very latest, everything that's going on in the research world around sarcoma. And there's a lot of exciting things going on. We also have a newsletter that we issue periodically that does some of those same things, but also we try to focus our attention on our volunteers and people who've done incredible things in the community to help out the sarcoma community, and also on our activities, progress on new treatments, all sorts of other great stuff. If you have something you want to contribute to the newsletter, please let me know. We also have a YouTube channel, and these exchanges, the one we're on right now, and our previous ones are on that YouTube channel, or the one this time will be shortly, but the previous ones are on there now. And then in July, we initiated what then was called Sarcoma Awareness Week in concert with the Sarcoma Foundation of America, the folks who raise money for research, who are our partners in all of this. But it's now grown to be Sarcoma Awareness Month, and it takes place in July. Many activities, many informational things happening, and we really get excited about Sarcoma Awareness Month and try and make sure the world is aware that this smaller form of cancer with fewer people really needs the same kind of support as larger forms of cancer affecting more people need. Next slide, please. And now my sister's going to take the baton.
So opinions usually don't matter, but for sarcomas, they do. Get a second opinion from a sarcoma specialist. Next slide, please. I think that this message is one of the primary takeaways of this whole exchange, how important it is to have a sarcoma specialist be involved in your treatment. As we heard yesterday, because sarcomas are relatively rare and there are many, many subtypes, it seems like more and more each year, it's critical that sarcoma experts be involved so that the patient achieves the best possible outcome. The expertise that the expert has may be in diagnostics, figuring out precisely what type of sarcoma or subtype you have. They might be able to identify the best treatment protocols for your particular subtype of sarcoma. They may be the ones, that have the best access to the latest technology and what's happening on the development front. And they may also have the most experience at a difficult procedure. So we can't emphasize enough how important it is to consult an expert sarcoma specialist. And my sister, Suzanne, she had the resources to be able to do that 25 years ago when there were a lot fewer sarcoma specialists, but she did consult sarcoma specialists and had a recommended protocol for chemotherapy that her own oncologist was shocked at because the doses were so high compared to what he normally did give to patients. But those, extended her life incredibly. And as she was working with people through the Sarcoma Alliance, she was troubled by the fact that not everybody had the same access that she did. So I got getting choked up, sorry. Our parents, Jack and Sharon Leider, established what's called the Hand in Hand, the Suzanne Renee Leider Memorial Assistance Fund. And it was precisely to address this issue that some people can't afford to get that second opinion consultation. And what we do is we defray and reimburse for some of those costs. Next slide, please. Yeah, I shouldn't get so choked up. So currently the Assistance Fund provides grants of up to $1,000 to help reimburse for a patient's out-of-pocket costs for a second expert opinion. That could be the actual fee that's charged by the institution. If it's not covered by the patient's insurance, it could be, the cost of airfare or lodging, et cetera, to get to the second opinion specialist. So we usually cover the expenses for just the sarcoma patient if it's an adult. If it's a child who's the sarcoma patient, we cover the expenses for two people, so that because we realize the child's being accompanied by a parent or guardian. So during COVID, some of these consultations became a new opportunity to have telehealth second opinions. We recognize that, and we can use this fund to reimburse for those costs as well. There's a form on our website for you to fill out. There's the application form. You can either print it out or you can actually fill it out right online and just hit submit. And you need to submit the receipts that document the expenses that you incurred and for which you're seeking reimbursement. There's also a form there that you're going to have the second opinion physician fill out. So they confirm that they consulted with you and provided a second opinion. And that's a form that they can fill out on the website as well, and then just hit submit. So we encourage you to take advantage of this. We usually review the applications on a quarterly basis. And as Philip said, this is, for us, this is like the heart and soul of the Sarcoma Alliance at this point, because we want people to get the best possible treatment. Next slide, please.
So I mentioned earlier that our Facebook support group now has over 13,000 members. I think it's north of 13,700, approaching 14,000, which is incredible for any support group, but for a community that's supposedly this small, that is remarkable. It is a closed group. In other words, once you join the Facebook support group, only the other members of the support group can see what you're posting. It's not there for the whole world to look at. So those of you that are rightly concerned about privacy, just know that there's a bubble around this group. It's not posted for the whole world at large to see. It provides excellent information. Some of the people that have gone through this know more than virtually anybody. They've researched it to death. They've spoken to all the providers. They've seen a very unique situation for themselves or a family member or a friend, and they have wonderful information to share and just support, assurances that you're not alone. Check in with a community that's going through what you're going through or has gone through what you're going through. It's a remarkable thing, and we get messages from people all the time thanking us from the bottoms of their heart for providing this wonderful resource. Next slide. Another just terrific thing, we had a brilliant idea about 25 years ago, I think 23 years ago, to connect people with each other individually. People didn't want to be in a support group, but they just wanted somebody to talk to who was like them. They had the same rare diagnosis, or they were at the same stage in their treatment, or they were going through something particular. And we had this clunky thing we created that we called the peer-to-peer support network. It was like a computer program that a wonderful board member back then, Michael Oslin, created to help us connect people that wanted to be connected. Luckily, we eventually formed a partnership with this terrific organization, Immerman Angels, and it provides a much more comprehensive and easy to use way to connect with somebody who's like you, a peer. And Immerman Angels provides mentors with a similar sarcoma history, to the extent they can find one. You can either be mentored if you need to find a mentor, or you can also volunteer to be a mentor, which is really important. People out there need you to be available to talk to them and just make them feel less alone, but also share information on a one-to-one basis. And through their unique matching process, they can partner anyone, anywhere, at any stage in their journey with someone who's faced a similar diagnosis and experience, and they call them mentor angels appropriately. Next slide, please. And finally, as I said earlier, our annual sarcoma exchange is always recorded, and the last 5 sessions have been recorded. They're available on our YouTube page, which you can find at our website. This is the 6th annual exchange, and this session will also appear on the YouTube page once it's ready to go. Next slide, please.
Another thing we're offering new for 2024 is a series of webinars on a specific type of sarcoma. This time it's going to be desmoid tumors, and these webinars are being sponsored by SpringWorks Therapeutics. We're very grateful for their support on this. So there will be 4 webinars, one each quarter throughout 2024, and they're going to feature both patients and medical experts. So please stay tuned for details, watch the website, and we hope to focus on a different type of sarcoma in succeeding years. So we hope this is a trend, and we think it's an exciting new educational offering. Next slide, please. So as Philip said, we are a volunteer-run organization, and we can always use more. And that can be sarcoma patients, sarcoma survivors, loved ones, family members. Anybody can get involved and can make a difference. So you can help us maintain the website or provide new content for the website or for the newsletter, as Philip mentioned. Get involved in a support group. You can help manage or participate in an online support group, or you can even start a new local one in person. The old-fashioned ones still are very effective, as well as the online Facebook one. You can become a mentor through Immerman Angels, as Philip just mentioned. You can also develop or implement Sarcoma Awareness Month activities, or really an activity anytime throughout the year. We've had people do various events. You know, if you have a group when you your local game night, you could, have it focus on Sarcoma Alliance to raise awareness and raise funds once a year or something like that. People have been really creative. They've sponsored athletic events or whatever, but it's really up to you. If you want to come up with something fun, we're happy to partner with you and help you realize it. You could assist with this wonderful program, the Sarcoma Exchange, when we offer it next year. And you can help us raise funds. And as I said, that can be, we always appreciate donations, but we love when people get involved and create some kind of activity that gets others involved and raises awareness about sarcoma and about our organization, because we really want, as Philip said in the beginning and throughout, we want people to not feel alone. And I'm really sorry, I'm so choked up. Whenever anything's
my sister.
Whenever anything's meaningful to me, I get all teary. My sister Susie used to comment that it didn't bother her because she knew where it was coming from, but I do drip a lot. So anyway, we're happy to answer questions if we have a little bit more time. But we're also, I think, participating in the Q&A that's after the next presentation. And if you want to volunteer or have any ideas, you can write to info@sarcomaalliance.org. And we're really looking forward to hearing from you. And there's somebody in the chat that introduced herself. It's Meredith Berger, and she is a great example of what we're talking about. She's one of the organizers of Wendy Walk, which is an organization that has been doing an event annually for a while, and they share some of the proceeds from that event with the Sarcoma Alliance. We're really grateful for her and all the people involved in Wendy Walk, and we look forward to other people doing something similar.
I would like to just add two really easy things you can do. Stephanie gave a great list, but two really simple things. You might be too tired, too busy, to anything to do too much. One thing you can do, though, is Stephanie and I are both wearing these yellow ribbon pins, and we sell them on our website. You can just go to our website and we'll sell you one of these. Just wear this on your lapel. Wear this when you go out, and you'll be surprised. Stephanie and I both get questions all the time. What does that pin mean? And it gives you an opportunity to tell people about sarcoma, tell about your experience with sarcoma. And you can wear it to conferences, you can wear it, to so many different things. And it's just become the sort of galvanizing symbol of the sarcoma community. I suggest highly you get one. And then the other thing you can do that's really easy is on Facebook. I did this year. When your birthday is about to roll around, you can do a fundraiser to support any organization. It's not hard. You just click a button and you tell how much you're trying to raise, and you explain what it's for, and whoop, Facebook does the rest. So those are two really easy things for people to do who have sarcoma or are trying to show their support for people with sarcoma that really benefit the Sarcoma Alliance without much effort. And with that, I know we talked quite a bit. I'm going to pass the baton back to Candace.
Thank you so much, Philip and Stephanie, for that very informative and also very heartfelt message about all the awesome things that the Sarcoma Alliance offers. I was also getting a little choked up there. Thanks, Stephanie. I'm the same way. So yeah, we actually are a little bit early. So if there's anything else that we want to chat about, or if anyone has any questions about the Sarcoma Alliance for Philip and Stephanie, we do have a few more minutes here.
One thing I wanted to add, since we do have a couple minutes, is we are about, as I said, to celebrate our 25th year of existence, which is you can see this gray beard that didn't exist when I was the president before. But one of the things we're going to do, Stephanie and I are really excited about this, is we're going to try and create a timeline of the Sarcoma Alliance and to spotlight some of the key moments in its development and really honor some of the board members, volunteers, important people who have contributed so much to the development of this organization that's done so much for so many people. So throughout 2024, we're going to be doing this, and we can really use help. If you were around back then, or you have some wonderful picture, or you have anything that really helps us tell the story of this organization. I remember when it was 8 of us sitting in Susie's basement And then Stephanie and I, my mom, and a couple other people putting together, our first fundraiser, which was a cookbook my sister wrote, and putting the spiral binding on hundreds of these things and staying late up into the night so we could sell them and make the $14,000 or so that was our first seed money to do what we do today. Um, if you have any of that stuff, the memorabilia, or even just your memories, if you want to share those with us, we're going to compile all of those and hopefully have a web page on our website, but also through our social media and our newsletter. We're going to